I'm Matt Gross, the Frugal Traveler for the New York Times. Over 13 weeks this summer, I trekked across Europe on a modern and frugal version of the Grand Tour. We think we know Europe, but on my own Grand Tour this summer, I was surprised to discover that Europe still holds surprises. The cultures and languages of England, France, Italy, Germany, and beyond have dominated the world for most of the last 500 years. They don't call Europe the Old World for nothing. And since the 18th century, the Grand Tour has been an exploration of what exactly makes this old world old. I got around Europe mostly by train, sometimes by bus, took a few flights, took a few ferries, rode a moped, and I even hitchhiked across northern Cyprus.
Let me see your hitchhiking face.
Yeah. I do this.
What totally blew me away about hitchhiking in northern Cyprus was how easy it was. In 4 days I got 14 rides, never had to wait more than 15 minutes, and the people who picked me up were the most generous people I met on the trip. What continued to amaze me was that in many of the places I went, people were willing to give things away completely for free. In Menton, on the French Riviera, I wound up talking to a restaurateur and asking to film in his kitchen without telling him I was from the New York Times. And out of nowhere, he offered me a free meal.
If you promise to send me a cassette of this video, you can come back tonight and I'll treat you to dinner on me.
I kept meeting people who really cared about the places they lived. In Vilnius, Lithuania, I met Janis Oskinas, who, by sheer coincidence, had just gotten his professional city guide's license.
So it's good when you are in your 30s to brush up your memory a little bit, to learn about the buildings you pass every day, and of course about its history.
I met some real characters, and right from the beginning too. On the boat over from Dover to Calais, I met Benoit Warze, who invited me to an opening at his art gallery.
If you stay some day in France, I open a new exhibition.
Originally, the Grand Tour was all about meeting artists and exploring high culture. There I was doing it without even trying. This is the Capitol Cinema, an abandoned open-air movie theater that now hosts a population of rabbits and arty events. This one was for Aolu, a new monthly newspaper in comic book form. The 18th century Grand Tourists were obsessed with art. They would commission paintings, they would buy sculptures, and then they would haul everything back to England with them. In Calais, in the lighthouse, I met a woman who is an amateur sketch artist. I'm supposed to send her this photo, she will draw it, and she'll send it back to me. This drawing will be my entire collection. As rooted as places like Rome and Romania are in the past, they're adapting in startling ways to shifting borders, new waves of immigration, and a wholesale redefinition of what it means to be European in the first place. In Calais, I met a handful of refugees. It made me realize how lucky I am to be able to travel for fun rather than out of necessity, and on a budget that to them would be staggering. Roshan from Sri Lanka and his friend Ahmed from Somalia led me back to their home in the place people call the jungle. Their lives are about as hard as you can imagine.
I just want to tell my mom and dad I'm fine. I'm surviving.
I really thought that I knew Europe. But after 13 weeks of new places, new people, and new experiences, the old world doesn't really seem so old. Plus, I only visited 16 countries out of the 48. That's how many left to explore? For the New York Times, this is Matt Gross, the Frugal Traveler.